Löwenbräu Oktoberfestbier.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. This is the second Oktoberfest beer that I've got that I'm going to review, and it is from the Löwenbräu Brewery based in Munich, and it is their Oktoberfest beer. Now this is one of the ones that is available at the original Munich Oktoberfest. And Löwenbräu are one of the 6 breweries that are only allowed to serve their beer up at the Munich Oktoberfest. There's a lot of, if you look at my last video about the Hofbräu Oktoberfestbier, that will give you a bit of a background into what the Oktoberfest is. I don't really want to sort of harp on about that too much because it does go on a bit. And as I said in the last video, I could probably do a whole video just about the Oktoberfest alone, the traditions, the history, what goes on and all that. But one thing I will say is that Oktoberfest does not just happen in Munich, it happens all over Germany. And in the big cities you do get that celebration of beer, because basically that's what it is. And outside, in Bavaria, outside of Munich, all them other fantastic brewers are excluded from serving up beer at the Oktoberfest, which I think is fucking criminal, really. And I have a mate who used to be in the army, and he used to travel down from northern Germany, but he'd go to places like Augsburg and other, Nuremberg and places like that, and he said it was much better. It wasn't as commercial. It was more German, and you didn't get ripped off, basically. And he was all for, going over there, but just avoiding Munich and going to these other small ones. And a lot of these breweries who are excluded from the Oktoberfest, like Inga, Schneider Weiss, Weihenstephaner, they all put on their own little, festivals and celebrations of the Oktoberfest. And, I know that it's tradition to drink Malzen or, the Festbier at these Oktoberfests, but I think you're missing out if all you've got to drink is these 2 types of beers. There's so much beer over in particularly Bavaria that is so good, and even variations on the style as well, that I think you're just missing out. And to be honest, they've even started having Oktoberfests here, and they have one in down the road in Maidstone. There's a big park there, and I went, I think it was 2 years ago, and I vowed never to go again. What a fucking rip-off. I think it was 15 quid, and 5 of that was for a stein, a plastic stein, and the beers they had on was Warsteiner, and I think it was Kronbacher, so nothing to do with Bavaria at all. Don't get me wrong, they're not bad beers, but, and I'm going to sound like a snob here, it was full of fucking tossers, obviously not used to drinking litres of beer, getting absolutely roaring drunk. You've got a band on, I think they might have actually been German, they was all done up in the Lederhosen and all that. And there was a mix up with the seating, so we ended up standing in the corner. It was a good laugh. I went with a few mates and a few the missus mates and all that, and it was all right. But I just thought, what a fucking rip-off. They're trying to recreate something that really should only be done in Germany. But that's by the by. Anyway, as I said on all these videos, these Oktoberfest videos, I can go on and on and on about it, and I really should do a video just about the Oktoberfest and the history and the traditions of it and all that. And unfortunately, as I said in the last one, it's cancelled this year. So we've got to make our own fun, and I'm doing this at home with this one. So that's why I'm going to shut up and I'm going to investigate this beer. Right, this is the Löwenbräu, or is it Löwenbräu? I don't know, I can't really pronounce that properly. But it's their Oktoberfest beer, and now this is a Marzen, and it's 6.1%. And as I said on the last Hofbräu video, and I can really see why, they do caution people on drinking litre steins, because this beer is so drinkable. You just keep necking it, and then all of a sudden it'll hit you like a bag of cement in the face. And I can really see why a lot of people do fall foul of the old drinkability of the German Oktoberfest beer, and that's why at the Oktoberfest in Munich they do have like medical teams on standby. I'm sure there's fucking work for them all day long. Unfortunately, on the Löwenbräu website they do not give a brew sheet, so I cannot give you an example of the hops they're using and what sort of flavours they're going to be imparting and all that. But all I know is if it's coming from Löwenbräu, it's going to be a good one. So that is what I'm going to go on. This, as I say, this is a Marzen. I'm not sure what colour this is. I can't remember whether I've had this before. I did have the Hofbräu before, but the Marzen can vary in colour. It can be from, like a Helles all the way through to a Dunkel, and technically that can be classed as a Marzen. So anyway, let's get this beer open, because I have got a throat like Gandhi's flip-flop. Right, there is the cap. Nice Löwenbräu cap. Oh, the autofocus. It's succumbed to my threats of violence and started working. It's going into the collection. It's cooled down a bit out there now, thankfully. But I'll tell you something, this sort of beer would go down an absolute storm in the hot weather that we've recently been having. Now I'm not going to pour the whole lot out. I want to leave a bit of room so I can get some. I'll get my big ooter in there. Oh, do you know what? I can smell it from here. And it's very similar to the Hofbräu. There's a lot of that Munich malt in there, a lot of spice. There's a little bit of sulphur on there as well, but in a good way. It's like it's what I would imagine Burton water would smell like, with all the seasoning that's gone on there. But it's lovely. It's a sweet, nutty.
It's a bit nutty.
Aroma with a bit of peppery spice on the top. It's lovely. Oh, that smells absolutely gorgeous. This is going to be a good one. Now the head has dissipated quite a bit, and the reason for that is I put this in the freezer for about 10 minutes because I got it delivered today and it was a bit warm. But there it is. Nice levels of carbonation, one finger head, very clear. I imagine this is going to have a lovely mouthfeel on it. So let's stop gassing and let's get it down the hatch.
Zum Wohl.
As they say in Germany. Oh, just before I do, in case you're wondering why I took my top off, it is starting to get warm in here again because it stopped raining. Anyway, let's get this down the hatch. Cheers. That's really nice. That really is a good one. I've had to let this warm up a little bit because I had it in the freezer and I think it was just a little bit too cold, so it's warmed up a little bit now. Head's dissipated unfortunately, but I'm going to go for it anyway.
Zum Wohl.
As they say in Germany. Not bad. I think it's sweeter than the Hofbräu Oktoberfestbier. Or is it? It's got a spicier finish, I think, than the Hofbräu stuff. But it's not bad. It's got a load of that Munich malt on the finish on it, and a fair bit of spice in the mouth as well. And there's a bit more alcohol. I'm detecting a little touch of spirit alcohol in that. It's quite subtle, but it's there, which is unusual because the Hofbräu stuff was stronger. That's 6.1, and it's there. I can get it, which I don't know. It's I think it's falling a little bit short compared to the Hofbräu, to be honest, which is unusual. I thought the Löwenbräu would be top of the shop. It is nice, and you know what? It's ridiculous because if this was just a normal beer, a normal German beer that I'd picked up, this would be blowing my mind. But maybe I've done it in the wrong order, or maybe I haven't, because the Hofbräu stuff for me is an absolute winner, and I think the Löwenbräu stuff isn't as good, right? But that's not to say it's not a bad beer. I mean, this is a fantastic beer, but as I said in the last video, I'm putting it up against a really high benchmark. This has got tons of flavour. It's got a load of the Munich malts that I love. I'm getting that in there. Quite a sweet, bready type finish on it. There's a bit of spice in there too. And on initial tasting, it tasted sweeter, but artificially sweeter. And there was a bit of a sulphurous aroma when I opened the bottle, which I'm thinking it may have been, I think it may have been bottled just a little bit too quickly, you know, and the sulphur hasn't had time to dissipate. But, you know, it's a great beer. It really is. I can't complain. I cannot complain. It is a really nice beer. It's got everything I would expect from a Bavarian Marzen. It's got a ton of flavour, but I don't know. I think Hofbräu have just pipped them to the post, which is sad, really, because their original, the Löwenbräu original, is absolutely amazing stuff. It really is, and that does surprise me a little bit. But I suppose if you're producing a beer that is that good, the Löwenbräu Helles, the original, I mean, that is a really, really outstanding beer, in my opinion. It's going to be hard to top, and you know, I think having tasted that, then the Hofbräu stuff, I think this is falling a little bit short. But when I say it's falling short, it's still a great beer, which is, you know, it's kudos. It's got all the flavours, don't get me wrong. There's a lovely bit of Munich malt in there. It's got that bready type finish that you would expect from, you know, a German Bavarian Helles or lager. And it's got the spice on top. I'd love to know what the brew sheet is, but I can't find it anywhere. So I'm just guessing, but it's using what I interpret to be one of the noble hops, probably Hallertauer. I don't know, I can't confirm it, but that's what it's tasting like. It's using that or a substitute, which is what the Hofbräu did. I mean, that really surprised me when I saw that brew sheet. There was absolutely no noble hops in there whatsoever. It was a mixture of German hops, not noble German hops, but German hops, and Magnum as well, which is, you know, that's a bittering hop. And I just thought, why are you using a bittering hop? But they obviously know what they're doing, and it's better than this. So yeah, sorry Löwenbräu, but well, I'm saying that. Look how much I've drunk. You know, that was a full pint. So, you know, that must tell you how good it is. I've drunk more than that than I did the Hofbräu when I was doing the review. I'm going to stop it there because I don't want to get too pie-eyed. You know, that's over 6% beers in the space of half an hour, and I'm not into these fucking beer drink. I was watching that thing last night with is it the Beer Hooligan and Real Ale Craft Beer, and so, what was it? I can't remember. Was it Wonder or something? I can't remember. But they was all drinking Duvel, trying to, you know, drink 10 Duvel. I just thought, why are you going to do that? You're going to end up pissed. You're going to end up talking bollocks. Do people really want to tune in and watch you talking bollocks? I don't want strangers seeing me when I'm drunk. I'm a better class of drunk than that. Don't you know? I'm fucking not. I'll probably say a few things that would probably get me in trouble. So what's the verdict on this? It sounds like I've knocked this beer, but I haven't. I really do like it. It's just that I've set a very high benchmark because I tried the Hofbräu first because I knew it was going to be a good one, and I don't think it matches up to it. It's fallen a bit short. There was a little alarm bell ringing when I opened it, and I had that bit of sulphur coming out the glass. That was just, you know, with all the carbonation, I could get a bit of sulphur in there. But it settled down, and it was nice. And it's a really drinkable beer. I will give you that. I mean, look at it. That was a full glass. So yeah, it's a great beer. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And the reason I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 is because I don't think it's as good as the Hofbräu. I don't think it's as good as their own original. You know, the original, that for me was an amazing beer. And I think, you know, I think they could have done better than that. But that's what they do. That's tradition. It's just my opinion. And you're getting 9 out of 10. But I still recommend it. Get it. It's brilliant. And remember, beer is working class champagne.